Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of my favorite trip to the movies. Hope you're all doing well and are safe and healthy. Just huge shout out to all the healthcare workers, all the teachers, and just all the just essential workers right now, just getting us through this time. Thank you so much. Today's guest on the show is someone who's just a super awesome zookeeper, very talented improviser, and just someone who's just been such a kind and supportive friend to me for so many years. My good friend Daria. Daria, how are you on this February Friday night?
I'm fantastic, Joey. How are you?
Uh, Happy to be talking movies for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the show where like theaters are opening in some states in limited capacity, but this is the so that'll just be a fun way to reminisce until we get back to that 100% feeling normal again with that, and everyone can go back feeling safely. So we'll just jump right into it. Daria, what has been your favorite movie memory, or a few of them?
So I was trying to think of like the most important movie memory I have. And Joey, you're actually a big part of this. So for your viewers' background knowledge, I guess, I've been dating a fellow for the past 7 years. And before we started dating, it was like in that like pre-phase, we were like talking but not dating. And he was like, oh, this Friday night I'm going to the movies. And I was like, oh, this Friday night's my birthday. And he was like, oh, well, you should come with. And I was like, well, who are you going? Like, what are you seeing? Who are you going with? Like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, I'm going with Joey. So then I think I texted you, or you like had already invited me or something. And I don't know. It ended up being the three of us on the night of my 18th birthday, which was, I think it was like a Friday or Saturday night. And we went to go see the Lego movie. And I don't have any interest in Legos at all. And I don't like I wasn't intending on going to this movie at any point because I don't know, it didn't like strike my fancy. But I was at that point in like crushing on someone that I was like, oh my God, I need to spend as much time with them as possible. So you were third wheeling in my mind, and I was sitting next to him, and we didn't like share popcorn. We didn't like hold hands or any of like that dumb cheesy stuff. But I was like, oh, I'm hanging out with him. And then I was like, okay, good, good. Joey's here. Like, I know Joey. We can like I don't know, I'll hang out and it'll be chill and it'll be fine. But like I get to hang out with him on my birthday. And it was super cheesy and dumb now thinking about it. But I was so pumped to be like with my crush and one of my best friends watching a movie that I didn't give a crap about on my birthday.
Oh,
And it
I
ended
mean,
up being a great movie. I remember like we all came out of it and we were like, holy crap, that was great. And we were singing that like everything is awesome song and stuff. So it was a great time. And I'm glad I saw the movie because I never would have seen it otherwise. And then I understood like all the movies that followed and the whatever and inside jokes from that. But it was the important start to a long relationship.
that is such a sweet story, and I mean, I'm gonna. There's two parts that I want to talk about, and I'll talk about the less important one. But yeah, so well said about the movie. I think all of us went into that movie like just it'll be fun. We're not like, but then like I
Mhm.
remember at a certain point in the movie, it became like this thing, and I mean, if and they like there was those scenes where it kind of spoilers for Lego Movie if you have not seen it yet, but there's those scenes where it became like real life, and we were all just like
Mhm.
mind
Yeah,
blown
it
by
was like
that.
really deep. It was like really, I don't know, heartfelt and sincere and deep. And I was totally anticipating just like a little kids movie.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, exactly. It added just so much extra depth, more than we thought it was going to have. And then adding on to that, as soon as I mean, we talked about when I asked you to be on the show, like that was the memory I totally thought of
Yeah.
too, and I was like, I hope we get to talk about that. And I like in my head, I just assumed you guys were like dating at the time, but no, you guys started dating like it was, I think it was Valentine's Day or something in
Yeah.
February. Like that's when you
Mhm.
became official.
Well, our first date was Valentine's Day, and then we went on like a couple dates afterward, and then we made it like official like a couple weeks later. But yeah, at that point we weren't even dating. I don't think we like many people knew what was happening. We were just like, oh, we're just friends. It's I don't know what you're talking about.
And then yeah, I remember I think I picked you guys both up too, and I probably didn't even think about that at that time. Like it probably
I
wasn't
think
like
you might have, yeah, because we were like, oh yes, because he lives really close to me, so I think I picked him up, and we were like hanging out at his. No, I went to his house. We were hanging out beforehand, and then I was like, oh, I'll just go to his house so you can like pick us both up, and it's easier for you. When really we were hanging out like the hour before or whatever.
yeah, the 950 I think it was 950. The Elk Grove 950 show. That's when
Wow.
it turned out to be a very important movie, as it turns out.
As it turns out, who would have guessed the freaking Lego movie?
Yes, everything is and was awesome.
That it is. That
And then adding on to that, what was I going to talk about? So other movies that no, I that we've I think something I really missed is those group outings, kind of like the Lego movie. And I know you and I have both been there for like the we saw Joker recently. There's Lego Batman movie, kind of continuing the Lego.
Mhm.
Oh, I think Baby Driver. We all went to that one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, so there's so many awesome times over the past few years. Okay, I remember what I wanted to bring up. So Julius in his video, he mentioned how like when you're in high school and kind of early college, like having that movie theater option is like you have like such a way to get like privacy and
Mhm.
that's what like you're watching a movie at home when like you're in that like will you won't you like phase like is I feel like it's a lot more uncomfortable.
It's a totally different atmosphere. Like, hey, do you want to come over and watch a movie? Versus like, hey, let's go to the movies. And I feel like it's a lot less like pressure and it's more like a cutesy little date if you're like going out to the movies. I miss that.
Exactly. Oh yeah. So that's definitely a big reason why I hope and I think movies will stick around. I mean, I
Mhm.
think, but yeah, hopefully that's just such a great reason and such a nice story. And the Lego movie, I'm so happy that was. And yeah, it was so happy. It was your birthday weekend too. That was awesome. Now for the next segment of the show, Daria, what are some of your favorite movie theater concession items?
So I have a big sweet tooth, but I don't like chocolatey foods. I like the really like terrible for you, artificially like sugary crap. So like Sour Patch Kids is usually my go-to, or like Skittles or something like that. If I'm like really feeling bougie and it's a special occasion, then I'll get like a popcorn and a drink. And every time we go to the movies, Nick needs to get a cherry Coke, and I hate it, but now I like anticipate cherry Coke every time we go to the movies, and then like a really, really ridiculously buttered popcorn.
Yes. Oh, so well said about the Sour Patch. Like, and
Mhm.
yeah, in so many videos in this series, that one's come up too, and it's just like those snacks feel so like at the movie, like they don't feel right anywhere else but the movies. Like, not that they
Mhm.
don't feel right, but when you're at the movies, they just feel so much like it doesn't even matter. It's part of the atmosphere.
It's part of the experience. You have to get it.
And I'm yeah, that's such an awesome choice, and I'm so glad you dropped the cherry Coke because yeah, that's whenever I go to the movies with Nick, like it's part of our we
Your
always
thing.
bond. Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely, absolutely. All right. Yeah. So many just great choices for concession items, and for this last segment, Daria. So like,
Mhm.
it's definitely I was telling you about this before we started. This is always a question I always have trouble wording because but I'm gonna try it a new way. So what's your take on just kind of the overall importance of, being able to go out and experience art and movies? No, definitely right now we can't do that. And, it's so awesome to have so many streaming options and so lucky that, there's so many shows you can watch, so many movies, but what's your take on kind of all of going out and experiencing art, like sticking around? Like, why do you think, what's your take on the importance of that?
I think we're in a really interesting position because we moved right before the pandemic started to a new state and a new city and stuff. And I think I definitely took for granted how much the arts are part of integrating into a city. So like even when we came to visit Denver before we moved, we wanted to go to the art museum. We wanted to like see a bunch of the like cultural historical arts that are known in Denver. And we weren't able to when we were visiting. And then when we came here, everything was shut down. So like there's a movie theater that I pass every day on my way to work. It's an AMC, and it was built right before the pandemic hit. So it didn't even have its opening day yet. It's never been opened. There's never been like a movie even in that facility yet. And it kind of stinks because you don't get the chance to like appreciate the city and make new friends and like do the things that you're so used to, like going to the movies and going to the art museum and going to the zoo and stuff like that, that I think you don't realize how much of a nice bridge it is to like make friends and see the community and like get to know things and like that AMC, it's in walking distance to like a gelato place that we want to try and like the local Trader Joe's and stuff like that. So it would be so nice and so easy to make that a part of our life, but we just don't have the opportunity to.
Yeah, it's so heartbreaking for sure that I know you and Nick both moved out there literally like weeks before the shutdown, so you don't really even
Mhm.
get to experience Colorado and the way you should be able to. So I hope you get to soon, and I hope you definitely you get to go to that movie theater. Oh, it's right there. It's so
Mhm.
close. So many
Pass it
memories going
every
to be
day.
made.
And I always think about you too, because I'm like, oh, it would make Joey so upset to know that there's like this beautiful, magnificent building that's just not being utilized like it's supposed to.
Oh, you know me too well. It's the truth. Yeah. So I hope you get to go there soon for sure.
I hope so
And I'll
too.
and so well said about like when you're especially getting to know people in a new city. I feel like, well, I guess going out to dinner could apply to this too, but like I feel like going to movies is so. This is why I love going to movies personally, because like with like getting to know people, because you don't have to talk for a few hours. Like there's not that you don't want to talk, but there's just like a lot less pressure too,
Yeah.
and
And then
just
after the movie, you have something built in to talk about. So you can have that like half an hour of like lingering in the hallway or like walking to your car if it's nice out, just like standing by your car and like talking about the movie. And it's such an easy way. Or like when you're talking to the person initially and being like, oh, I really want to see this movie. Oh, I really want to see this movie. So you've got something to like bond over right away and it doesn't have to have any pressure associated with it. It's nice.
oh, so yeah, so well. Yeah, I'm so glad you brought the thing about the before the movie too. Like there's, oh my gosh, and that's why like the whole Marvel thing is so. There's always something to talk about with that. That's why I love the Marvel
Mhm.
movies. It's like it's always
Yeah.
such a good, and I mean that can apply for any movie too. But yeah, after the movie too, so much conversation material. And oh, so this is something I meant to say earlier, but I do just want to like there's this I'll tell you how this relates after. But there's a
Okay.
scene in Parks and Recreation. It's like literally 5 seconds long, and I have no idea why it always it resonates with me. And it's not even like a big scene. So Andy and April, they go. I think you know Chris. Chris is like always Chris Traeger in that show is always kind of he's kind of going through some stuff, and they I think they invite him to go see a movie with them. And
Oh.
I always think about like not that I necessarily was going as through a difficult time as Chris Traeger was in that show at the during those times, but like whenever you and Nick we go to a movie with me, that always just meant a lot to me. So thank you for always doing that.
Oh, Joey, you know you're always welcome with us.
Yeah, I I love those. I always love those days for sure.
And it was such an interesting time in our lives because like I was a senior in high school and all of my friends were older than me and they'd like gone off to college except for you two. So I felt like we were like an island on our own and we had a couple of other friends that we'd hang out with and stuff, but for that like year or so, you guys were like my people.
Oh, well, I'm glad. Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, you and I were friends, were obviously before then through improv, but that was like the year we definitely all kind of really became close,
And
and
I went to like exponentially more movies that year than I've ever gone to in my life because you were always like, hey, let's go to the movies. And I was like, yeah, Joey, whatever you want to do, let's go.
oh, such good times for sure. And oh, and I had one more question that I had
Mhm.
specifically tailored for you. Since you are a super awesome zookeeper, is there like one? Who's your favorite movie? Like I was gonna say, just like favorite movie animal in general. Like, what's like a character? Either it could be like an animated character, or it could be like a situation. Like I think the movie, like some of those like Homer Bound uses like real dogs, or just like any character like that.
Um, I don't know. I honestly feel like like the last Lion King that came out, the like really beautifully animated one. I know that all of the like zookeeper friends that I have went crazy about it because we felt like that was the first movie in a long time that was so well like not only animated and it looked beautiful and like you could see the hair and stuff like that, but there were certain aspects of that movie that behaviorally fit the animals that other movies like didn't try to do. So like they had very natural behaviors and like the way they walked and stuff like that that you don't see or think about in a cartoon, but when you're trying to like make it real, you have to kind of think a different way like that. And I know that they did a lot of research and talked to and like watched videos of lions and birds and stuff like that. So that was cool because I remember all of us being like, oh my God, we can't wait to see this movie because look at its feathers. Like that looks so real. So I think that was probably it, but I don't know if I have like a character in there that I was like, oh, this is like a fun character. I just remember that movie being like, this looks beautiful and I can't wait to see it.
Yes. Oh, so yeah, so well said about. I love I love the answer because it really aligns well with your job. Like you just get to see animals represented the way like you've seen them, and that's so cool.
Mhm. Yeah, and you don't think about like a lot of the cutesy stuff that happens in movies. Us in the professional will be like, okay, yeah, but that's not going to happen. Like these animals are never going to interact in the wild. So like don't stop it. But when they put forth the effort to like actually make it look real and like natural and almost educational in a sense, we're like, yay, someone cares.
Yeah, they put in their research for sure, and you always love to see that when that happens. Well, Daria, I think that is the show. Before we close, do you have anything you want to promote? Any words for viewers? Any final things?
Um, no, I don't think so. Be nice. Take care of people. Yeah, just be nice to everyone right now. Everyone needs it. Take care of each other.
Perfectly said. I think a little bit of kindness towards everyone right now is just can make all the difference.
Goes a long way.
Goes a long way. Exactly. Thank you so much again, Daria, for being on the show. I love the Lego movie story. And I'm so awesome to hear the additional details of the story too.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for being a part of our journey, Joey.
Oh, it's everything is awesome when you know Daria and Nick.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.